Thing that we've seen, the project that we've seen at IMTS this week is something that we could hardly have missed because it's occurring at the booth right next to ours. I'm talking about the Dimensional Metrology Standards Consortium, which is a group that's working on pressing issues within industry interoperability as it relates to the transmission of quality data, measurement data in particular, as we've seen. The consortium, Quality Information Framework, is designed to address that issue with a suite of standards enabling the seamless flow of information within computer-aided quality measurement systems. And several major providers of quality hardware and software systems are part of the consortium, including our host for this episode of Quality Digest Live, Nikon Metrology. We're right here. So, to help us understand better the DMSC's objectives, we're joined now by Ray Admire, who is a QA engineer with Lockheed Martin's PAC-3 missile program. Ray is also the treasurer of the DMSC, as well as the chair of the group's Quality Measurement Standards Committee. So, welcome, Ray.
Thank you, Mike.
How are you?
Thank you, Dirk.
Yep. So, let's start at the beginning. When did the DMSC come together and why? Give us a little bit of the history of the group.
Okay, so the DMSC has managed the DMS standards since its inception. It was originally managed by KMI, and the executive director of the DMSC retired from KMI. And so he came to the DMS Standards organization and said, we need a new home for the DMS standard and to continue its building and implementation. And so that's how the DMSC got going. And then in 2006, we had an interoperability summit at NIST, and from that, the architecture of the QIF was ultimately designed and developed, and we've continued to progress. And over the last 2 years, we now have 7 complementary standards that work all the way from the model-based definition, so your requirements, all the way through to SBC and analysis. So you get plans, you get results, you get rules, resources, all these things that go into a product. So where a DMS was really concentrating on only measurement from an automated system, more specifically CMMs and optical equipment, now the QIF pretty much looks at the whole infrastructure of a part, all the things you measure, whether it's X-ray or it could be anything. So all of your attribute or variable information that you verify for a first article inspection or a PPAP.
Well, it's QIF Quality Information Framework.
Correct.
Again.
Yeah,
Right.
so let's back up a little bit and talk about just kind of the basics of the QIF, or the Quality Information Framework.
Sure.
From my understanding, the way that works is, let's say from a company point of view, you know, I manufacture stuff. I've got to send parts, or I got to make requests to my vendors to send me machined parts,
sure.
right? And I might send one part to vendor A for some machined parts. I might send some stuff to vendor B or vendor C.
Right.
And so in the past, the problem has been I would have to create a separate set of specs and requirements and so forth for each vendor, depending upon what kind of equipment they had, right?
Correct. So each vendor would normally generate their own plan of how they're going to measure that. And so if I looked at an inspection report from vendor A, vendor B, or even in our internal house, those inspection results would look very different. You know, and that's the beauty of QIF. If I get a model that says this cylinder is cylinder 5, then that name convention stays with that all the way through all of your inspection, regardless of where it comes from.
So the way it works now then is I create, again, as the company who's making a part, I create a set of specs. These are the dimensions I need. This is the part I'm measuring. All the information, and if my vendors are supporting QIF, right? It doesn't matter which vendor I send it to. The inspection report I get back is going to be exactly the same. I'm going to, as far as I'm concerned, they could all be the same company.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this plan, we as a manufacturing company, we could actually generate a plan that all they would have to say is, okay, our resource has a rotary table and does scanning, and it's a fixed head, or mine has this other type of resources to measure with. And then other than that, your definition of your features and characteristics, none of that changes. Your datum structure doesn't change. and the location in the report, that feature name stays the same. And we've even demonstrated here with calipers measuring items, and still the plan knows that that's a cylinder. It's this diameter that I'm looking for.
So, I mean, I would imagine, obviously you have to get the various equipment manufacturers, let's say, you know, Hexagon, Zeiss, Nikon, all of these guys have to work together to kind of support the QIF, right?
Absolutely, and most of those are members of the DMSC. They've been supporting standards.
Was that a hard sell though? I mean, because people tend to like to use their own proprietary software, right? I mean, that's just the nature of the business.
Right.
You like that. So was that a hard sell to get everybody to kind of come on board with this?
Well, today we have 13 companies that are demonstrating with their software the QIF and how it works for them. And so it's been fairly low impact for them to implement because it's an XML base, and most of them have that. But the other side is we're not asking them to change their internal architecture. I mean, whatever made you good at what you do, we want you to continue to do that, right? I mean, everybody's in business for a reason. Each one of these companies, they have a business model and it's working for them because they're still in business. So what this allows them to do is to provide to their customers a non-proprietary solution of reporting and getting that information out of a CAD system. So where we haven't had the CAD plus the PMI downstream to our users, that's one of the things in the 2006 interoperability demo that we said was it's our biggest bottleneck. We don't get that information. That intelligent information allows our other system, all these systems, to be more intelligent.
So the upshot of all this is that for the company, for Caterpillar or Lockheed, John Deere, whoever, the value of this is that they can be confident that if they send their parts to be manufactured or to be machined to any vendor that has equipment that is support of QIF, they're going to get results back that are consistent. They're going to understand what they're getting every time. They're not going to have to internally translate an inspection report from one company and try to make sense of it for themselves, right? It actually just speeds the throughput and
right. So this should save a lot of money and a lot of time. So a large company that has 80-something% of their products are normally procured, I would say.
Right.
You could actually generate your requirements, give that to your suppliers, and get the same information back, and it's going to make them faster. They don't have to develop that measurement plan. We've helped them do that. So you can imagine where now you're waiting on them to give you that information, and that information may just be a non-intelligent PDF file that you look and say, okay, it looks like everything was good. This is red, yellow, green. I'm in tolerance. I'm at 80% of my tolerance. I need to go spend a little more time to get my data better.
And what is, just wrapping up now, what is the status of the standard now?
Okay, so we pushed the 2.0. We released it last Friday open for the community to give information back to us on what works or what they don't think will work with it. So it's out for public review. Last year when we did the nucleus, the library, and the plans and the results, it flowed very seamless. We've added 4 new standards with the model-based definition, resources, rules, and statistics. And so we expect by December of this year, by Christmas time, we should have these 2.0 will be released and ready for the community. And again, we have 13 companies here today that are demoing at 10 and 2, and they're showing that we're ready for that.
Okay.
And where can people go for more information if they want to check it out online?
Absolutely. QIFstandards.org and DMSstandards.com.
Yeah, I believe that we had a link actually below our player page right down there where people can go check that out as well.
Okay.
So you can go online and do that.
Well, Ray Admire, appreciate it. Thanks for
Thank
joining us at the
Great
DMSC.
seeing you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem.
There it is, Ray Admire of the DMSC, talking about the Quality Information Framework. Really good story there, and we'll continue to follow that. And again, check it out online. Again, link right below the player page right down there. Okay.